Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to see what are the 5 essential things you need to know before getting into the React. So before you dive into the world of React and start building amazing web applications, here are the few important things you need to know. So in this video we will cover what are these 5 things to keep in mind before learning React that will save you a lot of confusion and time. So if you are just starting or even considering learning React, this is for you. Let's begin. First thing you need to know is that the prerequisites. React isn't something you should learn as your first step in web development. It's a library and not a complete language. So here is what you need to know before touching React. First one is HTML and CSS. You should be very comfortable creating layouts and styling them because React still uses HTML like syntax called as JSX. And next is the JavaScript. So the JavaScript is crucial. You need to understand variables, functions, arrays, objects, loops, map, filter, array functions, destructuring, and more like functions versus classes. So if you are comfortable with any different programming languages, let's say C++, Java or C, then these concepts might look familiar to you because the language might be different, but the concept is same. We define variables in both the languages, we use functions, we use arrays, everything, just the syntax might be the different one. Okay, so this was the first thing. You need to know the prerequisites. Next one is understand what React really is. A lot of beginner thinks React is a framework like Angular or Vue, but React is a library for building user interfaces, especially the UI part of our app. Whatever you see in our website, that's built using React. It is optionated, like it doesn't tell you much how to handle route, state management, or how to organize your files. What it means is that if suppose we open any website just like this one, and here you can see this is a simple website. Let's assume that it is built in React, and inside that there are different sections, and for each particular section there is one URL defined here. So for this page, this URL is defined. If we try to click another page, or if we try to open the another page, notice here the URL changes. The URL changes, also the content changes. So this thing is not provided in React. We need to install different package for it, let's say React Router, and we just need to download it and start using it in our application. Okay, so this was about the understanding what React really is. Next one is JSX is not HTML. Okay, so this is JSX. It's used in React, like the full form is JavaScript XML files, and JSX lets you to write HTML like syntax directly inside the JavaScript. Okay, so to understand it, let's assume this is a simple React application. I will not go deep into what is the folder structure, what is this package.json. Just assume that it is a React project, and here you can see there is app.js file. So this .js means it is a JavaScript file, but in order to integrate HTML inside it, just like you can see I had integrated nav, which are the HTML tags. Okay, so there are two things. We can define it as .jsx, but now it's defined it as .js, which also understand what HTML is written inside it. Rather than being a JavaScript, it also helps to interpret the HTML written inside it. Okay, so this is about the JavaScript files that are present inside the React, and you can directly use the JavaScript concepts in that, just like this div, it is a HTML one. Okay, now before diving into this, there are few things which we need to understand, that in the React application we can't use the class here. Okay, in HTML, suppose this is the index.html file, and if we want to assign a class name to it, then we used to write class and the name of the class. But in React application, this class is renamed to class name. Okay, that's the thing you need to understand. We need to write the class name here and it will work. Okay, this is the first difference. Second one is that in HTML, let's say this is one div tag and by chance we doesn't close it, then nothing will happen. But in React application, if we don't close it, let's say, then it will throw an error. It will say this tag doesn't have any corresponding closing tag. So this thing we need to know, that we need to properly ensure the tags are closed. Next thing is you can't return multiple elements in this HTML file. So this is about function, and to say about this is let's assume it's a contact page, this one is the home page, this one is the about page. Okay, and inside about page there is one function called as about one, which is returned here. Inside that we are going to return an HTML element. So this one, if we try to return a single thing, it will work, but if we try to return multiple elements here, then it will throw an error. Let's say we copy this one and if you paste it here, then it will throw an error. JSX expression must have one parent element. Currently it's having two, and that's why it's throwing an error. If we try to return only one statement or only one parent, then it will work. And if we want to return two things at a time, we need to enclose it inside the React fragment. This is a React fragment in simple words. If we put here format document, then we can see we are able to return the two divs here. That's a difference. Like JSX is not like HTML. We need to follow certain rules here before writing code. Okay. Next one is React is component based. So component based are nothing but the reusable UI blocks like buttons, navbars or cards. And there are two types of components, like functional and class based. The class based was used in older React or older lifecycle methods, but new one uses the functional that we had seen in our React application, that we had created a function, about function, and then returned it. Okay, so this helps to encourage reusability and modular code structure. Okay, so for example, this is the main application, and inside the main application these are the routes. Like for contact, the contact page is defined. For about, this about is defined, and for invalid URL, this page not found is written. Okay, so we are going to import these components from the files from the pages folder that we had created, and we are going to directly use inside it. If suppose this about component we need it at some other location too, then we can directly import it like we had done here, and we can directly use it inside our code. It helps to reuse the code, it helps to reduce the code, and it benefits it in many ways. Okay, so this was all about the component based. It is a component, like this app is a component, then this contact is a component, and this about is a component. So React is a component based library. Next thing is React isn't enough. So React only handles the UI layer, it is not a full framework. Okay, so React router, it is a client side routing navigation that we need to understand before while running React, because suppose if I try to run this application, let's say npm start, and this is the command to run the application. So this is the page, but how we gonna know that this is the home page, this is the contact page, and this is the about.js page? So for that we used routing. Okay, routing is nothing but, let's see, just a minute. Okay, this is the thing. If we try to reload it, then you can see the content appears here. If I click on contact, then the URL will be changed and this content will also be changed. If I click on about, the content will be changed, and the URL will be changed, and the content will be also changed. So in this way we first define like which route will handle which page. Okay, for that we need to use this React router DOM library, and using that library we are going to define the routes such that for the home we need to return the home page, for contact we need to return the contact page, and for the about we need to return the about page. So this is all handled using the React router DOM package. So this is the external package. You can see here we had downloaded it. This holds all the dependencies. So we had downloaded it from the npm and we had used it inside our application. It is not directly provided by the React. Okay. Next thing is let me present it. Okay. Axios to make API calls and handling data fetching. If you are unknown to APIs, drop a comment. I will make a separate video what are the APIs calls, and for the easy understanding, just understand that if we want any content, we make a request to the backend, then the backend process it and return us a response. The response will have a data. For example, if you are going to log in into any new website, then you enter email password, then you click on login, and as soon as you click on login, then the data will be sent to the browser, to the backend. The backend or server will verify it and return us a response that user is valid. Let him go inside the website. So these are nothing but the API calls. So for that too, we need to download a separate package that is Axios or Fetch for handling data fetching. Also, we need to understand what is context API and Redux. This is used for global state management, such that if we log in into our application and we need to save that state throughout our whole application or throughout our whole session, that for that we use context API. Also, if we want to save something and pass it from one component to another at any part of our application, then we use Redux here. The next one is CRA or White, which are tools to quickly set up React projects, such that Bootstrap app and many more things. Next is Jest and React testing library. If you are working in any company, big company, then they use the Jest or any other testing library for writing the test, which helps to know that our application is running smoothly even if we make changes at different location, and ensures that the application is perfectly fine with those changes too. So for that the tests are written, and we need to learn it while learning the React. It's also not provided in the application, maybe it's provided, but we need to write a separate file and write a separate test there. So this was all about the React. What are the things we need to learn or we need to see while learning React.